It's not just about getting a likeness of a person. Many people are quite surprised to hear that. The likeness is the all-important thing. And it is important to get a likeness. But to get a true sculpt, a sculpt that really works, is to try and get under the skin of the person you're sculpting. When I was younger, what really influenced me when I was growing up and doing this was my love for horror and science fiction and monster films, really. You'd be quite surprised, you might say, oh, was that Rodin or was it Michelangelo? But they are brilliant sculptors in their own right, but it wasn't sculptors that really influenced me to do this. It was Jason and the Argonauts, King Kong and Star Wars, to be honest. I was actually in the film industry for 16 years as a model maker, a prop master and a sculptor. This image here is of a film called V for Vendetta, sculpting a 7-foot version of the Lady of Justice. I worked on several of the Harry Potter films. This image here shows stuff from Hagrid's hut, Professor Lupin's classroom. I'm a bit of a slow starter and I build up my momentum, and then it's kind of like, oh my God, I've only got 2 weeks left. And I just like, then it's kind of, I'm doing like 16, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week for the last 2 or 3 weeks of the project to get it done in time. Family does suffer a bit for the last 2 or 3 weeks. The kids don't really see their dad. Hayley doesn't really see her husband. As a sculptor, you tend to try and keep your finger on the pulse and keep constantly searching on the internet, news. I found the Gracie Fields project was happening.
So let's welcome the fabulous Gracie Fields. Lead me to the altar and I'll show you where I'm tattooed.
There's a lot of surprising things I found out about Gracie. I mean, because she's been gone since 1979. Her generation is slipped away, and the modern generation may be totally unaware of how big a character she was. She was the richest actress in the world in the 1930s. She was a comedian, stage performer and an actress, and a very funny one at that. I've never sculpted a woman in 15 years. That's how rare it is. If you took away royalty, semi-naked goddesses and the Virgin Mary, the number of female statues representing women in historic was probably around about a dozen in the whole of the UK. When it comes to unveiling, it's all very exciting, and it's a bit mixed emotions because it's drawing a line under a project which has been a part of my life for a year. So this is the end, the full stop for a particular thing, and Gracie Fields has been a big part of my life for a year. I spent more time at Gracie Fields than I have my wife Hayley, and and that's what it's like. And now today that comes to an end. It's the bit that everything I do works towards. Everybody at Mattered had seen it in clay form, and that is the nerve-wracking bit. That's the bit where I go, ooh, they might hate it. But when they like the clay and everybody's happy with the clay, then the bronze is just a copy of the clay. When I'm long gone in years to come, people can say, look at a piece of work without looking at the signature and say, that's a Sean Hedges-Quinn. And I think people will. I'd like to have around about 50 statues around the UK. So I'm on about number 15 now. I've got a long way to go. I think ultimately it depends on how much work I get. If I can get the amount of work I'm getting to do this, it's going to be very difficult for me to go off that path. And if I don't, that's okay. I enjoy what I'm doing tremendously.